Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're going to be talking about the one and only Turbo coin. You guys know me, you know that I love this coin. We have been talking about it pretty much every single day for the last year and a half. Now, if you're wondering where the hell I am currently on vacation, but I'll be back roughly in a week or so, and everything will be back to normal. We can see, ladies and gentlemen, before we dive into technical analysis, let's look at the Turbo Twitter. We can see that the last relevant thing that was uploaded for Turbo was pretty much the Tangem wallets, right? I'm not sure how many are sold out, but I do know they are pretty much unique and limited time, right? So I believe there's only 300 or 350. So you will be considered as one of the people that do have something, extremely rare. So if you do need a wallet, highly recommend getting yourself a cold wallet. We can see still when it comes to Turbo posts, we are getting decent views, decent amount of engagements. If you do hold this token, all it takes is just, 3 minutes out of your day to leave a like, to leave a comment. We can see that you could also join the official Turbo Memes Telegram group chat for ready to post content to help spread the word and fuel the movement of Turbo, right? So if you have Telegram, or if you don't, highly recommend just getting it. It takes 1 minute to set up. Join, make sure to join, right? You're going to see a lot of posts there that you can use for something like on Twitter, Instagram, or whatever platform you spread the message on. Now let's dive into the basics that we cover every single day. We can see we are ranked 170th in the world with 48 million volume in the last 24 hours with a market cap of 205 million. Now, last time we were around these areas was practically sometime in the middle to late April when we actually were going to the upside instead of the downside. We can see that our trend line, our support, our key levels of 0.0033 are getting broken through, right? We talked about in the last Turbo video how there was, momentum going down, downwards, how there was zero confirmation of any reversals. And I was pretty much saying that we really need a huge burst to the upside or this thing is going to sell off within a day or two. And that is literally exactly what is happening. Okay. Right. You know me, I talk about certain zones, but I do say, listen, until there's confirmations of us respecting that zone, this is just something we talk about and speculate. And I did say in the last video that there were zero confirmations of us going higher. In fact, everything pointed towards the downside. And that wasn't just for Turbo, right? That was also for the rest of crypto. That was also for something like Bitcoin, right? We can see on the side that Bitcoin is at $99,000. And, it's not looking good. It is not looking good. And the reason why it's not looking good is because here's the deal, people, right? We have about a week left for something like Bitcoin, left for its 3-month candle. And I did say if this 3-month candle ends pretty poorly, right? If it ends pretty poorly, then this could be massive reversal signs. And this could possibly be the top of the market. Because we can see when we look over here back in 2021, right? When we start to get weak 3-month candles, reversals, there were reversal signs everywhere, right? So the last thing we want is a very weak 3-month candle. We don't really want June, the last week, to sell off back down to 90K, but it is very, very highly likely because there is a gap at $92,000. Now, the thing is, just because we hit $92,000 doesn't mean it's going to automatically bounce up. It might still go 1, 2, or 3K lower. The thing is, people, we are, at this current rate, looking to be performing a reverse head and shoulders, which is actually one of the most bullish things, right? Bullish things, even though we are pulling back now. Obviously the war tensions and how it's escalating is not happening at all. Pretty much actually ever since then, things have been going downhill, right? We were following global liquidity for Bitcoin, Turbo, and everything to the T until we weren't, right? Pretty much once we had this week's Sunday close, it was a little concerning, but then Monday was a big blast. But after that, war tensions were happening. And then of course we sold off, which obviously means something like Turbo did take massive hits. Now, the question is, where can Turbo end up over the next week or two? Okay, because that's a very, very important question. And the answer is, ladies and gentlemen, there's a high probability of us having a short-term pullback to retest off of this massive support. So we should be seeing some type of little pullback unless Bitcoin just crashes, 5 to 7K within the next day. But we should see some type of pullback back to 0.0033. But then we're most likely going to have a sell-off to the downside, even all the way down to 0.0022, because that is the next relevant area. All right, go down here. That is the next relevant area. And plus, all of the imbalance would get filled. I'm not going to lie. These markets do look absolutely terrible. And, just even 2 or 3 weeks ago, everything was looking beautiful, right? We knew Turbo was already going to be selling off since mid-May. We called it. The moment it broke structure, we're saying, okay, reversals are in. We obviously didn't expect to get, that low the way we are right now. But it just happens in life, this war, just not ideal. And yeah, I mean, it does suck. It does suck. I mean, obviously I'm not talking about just, people's lives at stake and everything. I'm just purely talking from the financial aspect. It does suck because crypto is considered a high risk asset. Bitcoin is considered high risk. So when we talk about something like Turbo, we can see Bitcoin went down 3%, Turbo went down 10%, right? I've said it before where altcoins will always take a bigger hit than Bitcoin, right? If Bitcoin goes down 3%, altcoins will probably average of 5.5 to 7.5, but then meme coins will take even a bigger hit because at the end of the day, something like a meme coin is literally a joke coin. Despite Turbo having very great fundamentals for a meme coin and the innovation it has and the team up with Near Protocol and Chainlink and the stuff it's doing outside of it just being a meme coin, it's fantastic. But a lot of that value, still, I would say 70% of the value is just purely that it's a meme coin. So it's going to take a big hit. It's going to take a big hit. We will be updating you guys consistently, right? Of course, you want to join the community, highly recommend it. We do have an open Discord at the moment. And yeah, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye. Before we end off the video, something I forgot to mention is the monthly chart. Obviously not super ideal. We can see we actually go on the 3-month. We did go off of this order block, which we were talking about already a month or two ago. But of course, we expected some type of better price action. We overall expected to June or for June to at least hold its own. But guys, things at this moment are not too ideal. Obviously, we'll keep you updated. Listen, rough times, but it's not the first time. It's been rough, right? It's been rough multiple times, and we've survived every single time. In terms of the news globally, in terms of where crypto is heading, it's fantastic, right? This is just short-term turmoil that is just disturbing the markets. But that is it. Official outro. Love you guys so much. I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.